and welcome back to the only podcast on the internet.
The only one.
This is the only one. There's none left. We've eliminated all of them.
No, I was gonna say, this is an original idea. No one else has ever thought of having like an audio-only show on the internet. We are pioneers in this field.
We're so forward-thinking in how we're doing this podcast, is that we're not actually audio-only. We also have video.
Exactly. Another novel concept. See, we invented the audio only, and we're like, what if we added video?
Amazing concept. Yes.
Pioneers time 2.
Hello, welcome to Rank Masters. We are the critics of internet lists. I guess I can't say we usually say like ranked lists, but today's list isn't ranked. But hi, I'm Seth.
And my name is Trace.
Okay. We're off to a fantastic start. Literally all of our intros are chaotic like this. I don't think we've ever had a good one.
What do you mean? I think they're all good. I think they're all fantastic and wonderful in their own unique little way.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, hello. Okay, so if this is your first time tuning into a Rank Masters episode, like I said, hi, I'm Seth, that's Trace. We discuss various lists out there on the internet. We find like a top 10 list or something like that, and then we talk about it. And it usually leads to very chaotic conversations. One of our recent episodes.
Oh god, which one are you even going to bring up? Like, you start that and I'm like, oh shit, which one is it going to be?
I mean, we have to talk about the Beerus, like, YouTube short and TikTok, right?
Oh, so many people hated that. I love it.
It was our most viewed thing. And our
most disliked thing. Out of anything we've ever uploaded to YouTube, it was disliked to hell.
People really don't like to confront the idea that Beerus is a bottom. But I stand by it. You know what? We stand by it.
I think it's because it was hashtag Dragon Ball Z. So, like, we had all these Dragon Ball Z fans come in here and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? The Destroyer of Worlds is a bottom.
Yeah, they should know by now. They've watched the show.
I was like, have you watched the show? You claim to be a fan, and you also don't get those vibes. I think you may just be homophobic.
Honestly, possibly. But yeah. So, yes, hello. This is what the show is. We talk about lists mainly and then go on really weird side tangents like that. And today is another one of those days where we're hoping to talk about a list and then go on a lot of side tangents. Because the list today is the 16 best places to visit in the world.
In the entire world.
In the entire world. I mean, you know what? I'm glad they didn't include space. I don't know if we could have discussed that properly.
Someday we will figure this out. As is notable, as we started the last episode with me talking about The Sims, I believe that's what that was.
Oh yeah, let's start with that. Let's get started.
No. There is no Sims update. Otherwise, what? I'm just thinking of Sixum, which is like an alien world in Sims, which you can visit, and it's this whole thing. I didn't
actually know that. That's neat.
Literally, my entire world is consumed by The Sims at this moment. By definition, it is a hyper-focus, and it's not healthy. But you know what? I'm enjoying parts of it.
What's not healthy about hyper-focusing? I feel like hyper-focusing is okay if it makes you happy. You know? Like we talked about... What was it? The depression episode, I think, is when we talked about just do what makes you happy? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm also supposed to be focusing on a really big project at work, and it's really hard to do that when my brain's just like Sims.
Okay, that I understand.
24 hours a day. So that's the problem. But there are very specific things in my mind that I'm like, these are awesome places to visit, and I don't know if that's what this list is going to be, so I'll be interested to see exactly what they're deciding is a good place to visit.
Well, hey, like maybe by the time we get to the end of the list, if they don't cover the ones that you think are good visitation spots, we'll talk about yours. You know, I mean, that's again the whole point of this show. We find a list, we talk about it, and then go on our weird side tangents. So
yes,
and yeah. I'm expecting to have a lot of weird side tangents because I'm guessing a decent amount of these, like, I won't know. Like, there's a handful I should know, but I'm like, I don't know a lot about certain countries or certain cities even. I'm like, I don't, some of these we're going to be a little funky. But we're going to go down the list. We're going to start at number 1, get through number 16, and then you could talk about your own personal, like, favorites and what you would actually want to visit, Trace. Because I'm curious.
Okay. Well, what is number 1?
What is number 1? Well, number 1 on this list. I thought you were asking me what my number 1 was for a second. I took a minute to process that. Number 1 on this list is Machu Picchu in Peru.
God, can you imagine climbing in a mountain just to get to a city that's dead?
I cannot.
I mean, Machu Go ahead.
No.
What does it say? Because Machu Picchu is in Peru, correct?
I did say that. Yeah, that is correct.
Oh, did you actually say it's in Peru? And I'm just not paying attention.
Yes.
I'm here going to be like, I know something about Machu Picchu. It's in Peru. One of the only things you've said about it so far.
Okay, I'm going to read off what it says right here. It says, located high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, Machu Picchu is now believed to have been a sacred royal retreat for Incan rulers. Back in the 15th century AD and abandoned less than 100 years later, the remote site continues to amaze with its perfectly joined, mortarless, intricate stonework. Huge multi-ton blocks of stone are perfectly joined with each other without use of mortar or cement. It goes on to say that's the capital city of the empire. It's possible to hike to the trail from like all the things. Hey, I don't like hiking. I mean,
lived in Colorado. Do you think I'm gonna hike up? Like, I know what it feels like to hike up a mountain.
Yes, you
if
do.
You've seen me. I'm not a very big hiker. Holy shit! Imagine hiking up to Machu Picchu in the mountains. Half of the people would have to die.
I think we've gotten to a point in human civilization where at least most of the expedition would make it. I don't even think it counts as an expedition. I think it's a tourist trap at this point.
I mean, I think Machu Picchu is great. My favorite thing is that Ancient Aliens adores that location because they're like, there's absolutely no way that ancient humans could have built this, so it had to have been assisted by aliens. And, you know, like in your description, they're talking about the large stones. Well, like, obviously they had to use anti-gravity technology that was provided by the aliens to get this city up and going.
One of my favorite and least favorite things about Ancient Aliens is that they so often discount the power of, you know, humans to do things.
It's like the infallible human spirit.
That and also the power of being able to own slaves. Because let's be real, that's how a lot of this shit was done back in the day.
The power of being able to own slaves. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, look at Egypt, dude. A lot of the times Egyptians would like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wait, so there's modern theories now in Egypt that it wasn't actually slaves who were building most of the pyramids. It was considered like a right of honor to help build the pyramid. Okay. And so like it would actually be... And this is just a theory. Like they obviously, I don't think they know exactly what was happening. But a theory now is that, yes, a lot of the work was done by slaves, but there was also these people who would dedicate like 2 years of their lives to helping make the pyramid, and that would be like their way to honor the Egyptian ruler that you know the pyramid was for. It was very interesting, but yeah, no slaves.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't actually know that. That's an interesting thing to think about. I'm gonna have to ponder that for a moment. Then
I watch a lot of documentaries.
Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I was
and a lot of Ancient Aliens. two very different things.
We've covered all the main forms of media that you consume on this podcast so far. We've talked about aliens. We've talked about like archaeological discoveries. We talked about Bluey.
The only things then we talked about The Sims, and there you go.
Yeah!
That's my entire entertainment network.
Ooh. Next episode, we got to do a thing about The Sims. Next episode's your episode. You're leading it.
Oh, God. Is there anything that I could do about The Sims? Like, top 10 Sims families? We got the pancakes, the land grabs, the goths.
What the fuck?
Yeah, all iconic Sims families.
All right. Well, I'll let you discover how you want to do that list or whatever list it is. I can't really think of much else to say about Machu Picchu. They have a note here about like how they've taken steps to avoid over-tourism, which I think is pretty neat.
I mean, they've taken a lot of steps to get up to the top of Machu Picchu. Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what's coming in at number 2?
Number 2. This is one I've actually been to. It says the Grand Canyon in Arizona is number 2 on places to visit.
You want to know something?
What?
I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
That's fair. I think, obviously, most people haven't. I feel like most people haven't been to most places on this list.
The farthest west that I have been is to the western border of Colorado.
That doesn't surprise me.
I went to the Four Corners.
Yeah.
And that's it. But the farthest east I've been is Virginia, technically.
Okay.
The farthest east I've been that I remember is Florida.
I don't know if the furthest east I've been. I guess this is a question of like what is further east. I've been to Delaware, Florida, New York. I don't know which of them is actually further east. Because Florida feels further east, but I think New York is like more so due to how like the country's shaped out.
Yeah. Well, like, there's that weird map that like will draw a line, and it's like the majority of Canada's population is farther south than Maine or something like that.
Yeah.
And it freaks you out, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
Countries are weird. Geography is weird, but that's not what we're talking about today.
We are. So,
we are? Okay, never mind then.
There's also like the TikTok, like there's this TikTok that I will come across my page sometimes.
Sure.
And they will take like a chunk of the earth and
they'll
put
just take it.
Yeah,
they'll put it in their mouth.
But like they'll move it around on what Mercator maps? Is that what we normally use? The ones that are like flat and they have all the distortion near the poles.
I haven't heard of that term, but it sounds familiar.
Well, I know there's a map called a Mercator map. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if that's the one that we normally use, because there's like the map that's like flat, and then there's the one that's like the cutting up of the globe, and then there's like the one that's like circular. Whatever.
2 of my family members are pilots. I should probably know this, but I don't.
You should know this. But anyway, they drag it around and they show like the distortion of the maps, and and sometimes they purposely inject fake, like something that's fake, like that's not true, just to get people to comment and engage on their post.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off, but it's clever.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that too with some of my YouTube videos.
Like purposely pronounce something wrong so everyone's like, oh, the way he pronounced Pikachu was really funny.
That true. Like, I've done that with a lot of like my Pokemon gameplay videos back when I was doing gameplay videos, but some of my video essays, like I would just straight up say the wrong name or something. Like I made a video essay about like the history of free to play games, and I was talking about a game called Royal Match on mobile because I was really addicted to like those kind of match 3 puzzle games and all that jazz. I'm past it now. I'm no longer addicted to that kind of bullshit. But I kept calling it King's Quest, which is a completely different game entirely, and I just thought that was funny.
Well, bitch, you're teaching me wrong information. I inject your video essays into my veins and take it at face value. So
I'm willing to bet you haven't seen at least 3 of them.
It's like my media literacy is low when I watch your videos. I'm just like, yes, I trust Seth wholeheartedly. He could tell me that the earth is flat and I'd be like, you're right.
No! Don't trust me. Who do you think I am? I'm just a deer on the internet.
Seth. I don't know. Maybe it's just like knowing bias. Like, you know someone, so you just trust what they say no matter what. Like, do not trust a thing I say. Half of what I say is like because there's one little cloud of a memory that's in the back of my brain that my mind goes, wow, this seems relevant. And I'll be like, ooh, what is this? Like, we experienced this last episode when we started talking about particles and waves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, isn't there this new study? Blah, blah, blah. There was no new study.
Yeah.
It was something that's been talked about for a long time, and it's not what I said it was.
I pressed X to doubt. It was, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, is this, like, the idea that, everything can exist as a wave in equations. It's not that it actually is a wave. And it's just... whatever.
when I get to this part of the video, I should put a wave effect on the like overlay. That would be really funny, actually.
It's just
I hadn't thought about that. But anywho, speaking of trusting things that we're saying, one of the things you should trust me about is that I've been to the Grand Canyon, and it's not that good, actually. I
mean, I don't know. I think it seems pretty cool.
It's cool in concept, but like, I don't know, you're just looking at a bunch of rocks.
I like rocks. One of the coolest places I've been to is Mesa Verde in Colorado, which is like kind of like the Grand Canyon, but it has dwellings. Dwellings
as in like where people lived, or?
Yeah, like where people lived. Like it was, I can't remember specifically what tribe.
Oh, okay.
But there's a tribe of indigenous people that like built these really cool like dwellings on the rock caves, and you're able to go in there. There's like you're able to walk past them. You're not allowed to touch anything. Like there's ropes and whatnot. There's a singular like building thing that you're allowed to go into, and everything else is like no touchy.
No touchy. Impossible.
That was really cool.
Neat, yeah.
But one of my favorite parts of that was the rocks. So I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fair. For some reason, when you said there were dwellings there, I'm like, you just went to a town, Trace. But no, and then you continued on.
Yeah, I went to this really cool place once called Denver. It like had these dwellings. Like some of them were really tall,
but yeah,
and it's not in the mountains. Denver is not in the mountains.
It's not.
To anyone out there who's never been to Colorado, Denver is not in the mountains.
Please shut the fuck
Your
up
world's
about the
probably
mountains.
blown. But Denver is not in the mountains.
Colorado is a lot more than the mountains, and people need to shut the fuck up about them. We've had that discussion before on this podcast too, haven't we?
Well, I loved when I was in high school and we'd go to like different places, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm from Colorado," and like almost everyone would be like, "Oh, do you know how to ski?" And like, first of all, yes. Second of all, it's not because I'm from Colorado. No, I don't actually know how to ski. I like went skiing twice because it was like an honors trip that my little tiny school got to go on. All right. We were able to afford the whole 5 kids in my class to go ski on the slopes for a day. All right.
That's fair. Yeah, I learned how to ski in Kansas City, actually. They have an artificial mountain there that's made for... I didn't
actually know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't because it's really fucking small. Like, it's not... It doesn't look like a mountain. I think it's just basically a hill that they make... Like, they put a bunch of dirt to build up into a hill, and then they, like, make fake snow during, like, late winter. But yeah, it's meant so that you could ski in Kansas City. And my family took me there a few times. That's how I learned. And then
I don't know.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
During high school, my jazz band would take us out to like Winter Park, Colorado, and I'd be like the only one who knew how to ski. And I'm like, hell yeah! And I just go crazy.
Well, I don't know why this popped into my head, but it made me think of like Elton John. There's like this famous clip of Elton John talking about "quote unquote" Six Flags in Kansas City.
Really? Okay.
Kansas City never had a Six Flags.
No, we did not.
He was talking about Worlds of Fun.
Yeah.
But he called it Six Flags. I can't remember what the rest of the clip is about, but that... There you go, tidbit. Look it up. You expect me to do everything for you, listener, but go just look it up yourself.
I was going to say, the listener is doing less right now than we are. We're actually having a conversation. The language parts of our brains is occupied, but you, listener or watcher, or what... I don't know if you're watching, but you're doing nothing else right now. You could look it up right now.
Look it up, lazy.
Put us on pause. Leave a comment. Tell us how we're wrong.
Anyway, Grand Canyon. Sounds
Grand
cool.
Canyon. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was that cool. I think it was just kind of boring. It was pretty. I'm not gonna lie. I think rocks are pretty, but
it's a good place to go to once.
I don't want to bring this back to the drugs episode, but imagine I could see being there high being a really fun experience.
That's fair. So I also used to go to like the Royal Gorge in Colorado, which is like a tiny canyon.
What a name.
But they have like a really cool bridge, right? That's like completely over the gorge, and then they have like one of those swings that will like swing over the entire canyon, and I don't know, they made it this whole entire thing. I loved that place. I always loved stopping there when we were going on trips. We did that like 5 different times during my childhood because it was just always
that's fun.
On the path to different ways west in Colorado from us.
Neat.
But, so I just imagine the Grand Canyon being that but bigger. So that's maybe that's why I'm like, man, the Grand Canyon sounds fun, because if you're able to do this at the Royal Gorge, then you were able to do... Sorry, I'm just thinking of... Oh my god, gorge?
Gorge. It's a fun word.
Anyway, I go to the Royal Gorge if you're in Colorado. It's fun.
Well, watch that be on the list later. It's like just below.
It's like actually number 3 is the Royal Gorge in Colorado.
Yeah, actually number 3 is the Royal Gorge. No, I'm kidding. Shall we move on to number 3?
What is the real number 3?
The real number 3 is Rome in Italy.
Rome.
Yeah. Just Rome.
Like ancient Rome, like time traveled ancient Rome, or like current day Rome?
It says current day Rome. It says to like go to the ruins of ancient Rome and stuff. Here, I'm gonna read it out loud. I'm gonna pop in a narrator voice.
Okay.
The Eternal City is more like a giant living museum. Visitors are immersed in and surround themselves by thousands of years of history. It's a relatively compact city, and a 3-day itinerary gets you to the minimum number of must-see places. These must-sees for any visitor include the Colosseum and the adjacent Roman Forum, the Pantheon, and Vatican City, a separate country in the middle of the central Rome.
So if I ever were to go to Rome,
I'm not going to the Vatican.
If I were to go to Rome, this is what I would hope would happen. I would hope I would go there, with like a bunch of people. Maybe with like, if I was in school, it'd hopefully be like a high school trip or something.
Yeah, that could be fun.
And then, I'd get there and then I would sneak away from my class because, I wouldn't want to be with them because, they're boring. I want to do more Rome stuff.
True.
And then I feel like I would run into maybe a pop star and we would become friends, but then he would reveal to me that he's actually was supposed to be in a relationship with another pop star that looks exactly like me.
Oh my god.
And then what happens is can you pretend to be this pop star because we're supposed to be performing at this big event? And then all of a sudden I'd start falling for this pop star because he's so sweet and he just wants me to be succeed in what I'm doing. I'm sure the joke is done. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm assuming it's a movie. I'm assuming that's some sort of...
I can't remember. It's a Hilary Duff movie. What is it called? It's like the Lizzie McGuire movie, isn't it?
I have no clue.
This is what dreams are made of.
So okay. I thought you were being serious, and it took me way too long to catch on.
That was the joke. But no, if I were to actually go to Rome, I would love to go to the Vatican. What are you talking about?
Really?
I think religion is so cool.
I think it is too, but I'm gay.
Let me say that in a way that doesn't sound like I'm lying. I think religion is very interesting. And
it is.
I think Catholicism, while being one of the biggest oppressing forces in all of history, is also interesting. And honestly, I think going to the Vatican would just be a once in a lifetime experience. I'm going to watch the coronation if it hasn't already happened yet. Oops. Just because it's something that I'll probably only get to see once in my life.
That's fair. That's valid.
I think that's cool.
I mean, okay, in terms of things in the Vatican, I'd like to see the Sistine Chapel, I guess. That's pretty neat. But yeah. I don't know what all there would be for me there. Because I'm it's just, I think religion is fun to explore, but not, I don't know. It's weird when you're doing it in an at the major place that it's being practiced, and that's weird. That's a little uncomfortable for me. I don't know.
I also think the Vatican is cool because they were pioneers in radio technology. But anyway,
I mean, yeah, the Catholic Church was the pioneers of a lot of technology. I mean, that's just they were at the forefront of a lot of things, including persecution of minorities.
I mean, don't you hate when you go to the Vatican and you fight the Pope and then this secret floor opens up and then you go down there and you find this thing called the Apple of Eden, which is an ancient people's artifact. That anyway, if you just want to go to Rome, just play the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy.
Oh my god.
Because that's probably going to be a lot more fun.
Did they actually put the Apple of Eden in Assassin's Creed? Are you kidding me?
So the Apple of Eden is spoiler alerts for Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy, I guess. A game that's 10 years old at this point. No, so in Assassin's Creed, the overarching story is that there's this ancient people, right?
Yeah.
That, we think are gods. One of them's named Jupiter, another one's named something else. I don't know. But anyway, they created these really powerful artifacts called the something of Eden normally. And an Apple of Eden is literally a ball with a cross on top of it is the way that it's been shaped.
It's a ball! We want to hold all the balls.
And it has supernatural powers. And I don't know, I really loved Assassin's Creed. I haven't played the last 2 new ones. I stopped at Origins.
Fair enough. I've never actually played Assassin's Creed.
Honestly, play the Ezio trilogy. Don't play the first one. The first one sucks going back to it.
Really? Okay.
Like if you played that one first, you'd be like, wow, this is cool. But then you played the rest, then you'd be like, oh, I'm never going to go back to the first one because the quality of life that happened in Assassin's Creed 2 onward is just so much better. Huh. And also, Ezio's a better character. Altair sucks. Assassin's Creed girlies are going wild right now.
Fair enough, I guess. Here, I'm trying to find out where it's available, because if it's on if it's like on Game Pass, I could just pick it up today. I know it's on the Switch, which I think is really funny.
Well, like I remember the Ezio trilogy, like 3 games was on sale for like $10 like a month ago.
That's cheap.
Yeah, because it's old, right?
That's true.
They're old games.
You're right.
But they were so fun. Like, oh my god. If you played those on stream, I would be there diligently because I love those games. Huh. Like, as someone who does not play games, like, they were some of the best that I ever played. I loved the story of them so much. Because, like, it mixed religion and history and action.
Yeah.
And
now that I think about it, this sounds directly up your alley, yeah.
Yeah, so it was so much fun. And also, like, alien-type stuff. Like, are you kidding me? This is my type of game.
Interesting.
So good. I loved Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Resolutions.
Rev your engines.
Rev your engines. I thought they were such good games. And I mean, the ones that came afterwards were also really good. The one in France kind of sucked. Origins. Get right.
Blame France for that. France sucks.
I'm
sorry.
France itself sucks. It was really bad. I mean, I thought it was okay. I honestly think the worst one was the first one that I ever played. Like, the first Assassin's Creed was probably the worst out of the bunch.
Interesting. Good to know, at least.
Sorry, my Assassin's Creed rant is over.
No, it's okay.
If you're poor, don't go to the Vatican, just play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Honestly, I felt like I was there.
Anywho, shall we move on?
Yeah, what's coming in at
this location? 4? I don't think this location's been in an Assassin's Creed game. It might have been in the pirate one. But this is number 4. They recommend going to Maui in Hawaii.
Okay, first of all, don't go to Maui in Hawaii. Don't go to Hawaii.
Why?
Hashtag.
Elaborate. Tell the audience and me, because I don't know what you're getting at. There's a lot of reasons to and do not. So I'm curious what your reasons to not are.
Well, a lot of the indigenous people of Hawaii are really trying to fight the use of their land. What is their land is used for tourism. And they've constantly been ignored by the government. It's constantly being destroyed to put up some new hotel or new parking lot or new attraction. And so they have a movement that's like, just stop traveling to Hawaii. Like, show the government that you care more about, these people's history and pretty much who they are versus a quick trip to Hawaii.
Good.
If you want to, go to the beach, like, we literally have 1 billion coastal cities in the contiguous United States. Just go there.
And spoiler alert, some of them are later on this list. Cough, cough, wink, wink.
Yeah, so there's better options.
There are.
But I think Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and as well as the other one that was a part of it.
I was just doing that as a smooth transition. I didn't know you were actually thinking about where it goes.
Oh, no. I think that one was in, like, Haitian, in, like, the Haitian Islands or something.
Oh, okay.
Is that what that's called?
I have no clue. Haiti? Is that where just...
Yeah, like, I think it was a part of Haiti and Nassau and kind of like the new Indonesia or whatever it was called when Christopher Columbus found it.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Yeah, I don't know jack shit about most islands. I'm going to be honest.
I've never been on an island.
Really? Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, I've never left the contiguous United States ever in my life.
That scans. If I ever have an opportunity to, I'm happy to invite you. I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to. Most of the opportunities I had were because of my parents, and I don't think they want to take me anywhere anymore. So, if I ever have enough money to do it on my own, one of these days I want to have a furry cruise. I just want to invite like 5 to 6 of my furry friends and go on a cruise somewhere. I don't know where, but not to Hawaii. Not to Hawaii. We're smart enough to not do that.
I think it'd be fun to like do one of those cruises that like goes up the California coast or whatever. Ones that are like low pollution and stay close. I don't know.
Yeah.
I floated the idea of my family going on a cruise, and literally all of them said no. And I was like, fuck y'all, then I'll do something else. Like, I want to go on a cruise. I think it sounds fun. I mean, what was it here recently? There was like a really big gay cruise that just happened. I don't know. I saw it like all over Twitter. There was like, it was like mostly gay people. And there was, I don't know. I saw it all over Twitter. It was like a gay cruise.
Huh. I did not hear about that. Well, I'm not
cruise,
Twitter, so that doesn't surprise anyone.
Yeah, that had a lot of sex, apparently.
Hey! I mean, those are the best kind of cruises.
Twitter.
I think even straight cruises have a lot of sex.
I think straight cruises, from what I've seen on TikTok, have a lot of like old people sex.
Yeah, so, that doesn't surprise me.
That's what I see. Like every once in a while, I'll accidentally fall into rich people TikTok, and they'll be talking about like there's this one that I saw that had like all of the like the luggage like outside the room, like up the hallway, and they're like the saddest sight on a cruise, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And I had to look it up, and apparently it's because like you take your luggage and you put it out the night before so that like the workers can pick it up and place it to like get ready so you don't have to take it with you or whatever, because I guess that's something they do on rich people cruises.
I thought you were talking about like if someone died on the cruise.
Oh, no.
Leave their luggage outside.
No, my favorite cruise TikToks are the ones of the people like trying to run to the boat because they missed like
that's
departure.
Funny. That's really funny, actually.
So, like, I stumbled on one that was like 4 o'clock means 4 o'clock, and it was because they had stopped at a dock along their cruise, and they're like, all right, well, you're leaving at 4 o'clock, go enjoy this town. And so people got out, and then then you see this couple that's just running, like, oh no, stop. And the boat's like already on its way. And they think that the boat's going to turn around for them. No, good luck. You're going to have to figure out a way home.
Yeah,
I think those are fun.
A lot of people need to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them, and it's hard.
The problem is the people I think who go on cruises are more likely to think that the world revolves around them.
Well, this is their fucking wake up call.
I think there's a correlation, maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah. Anywho,
don't go to Hawaii.
Don't go to Hawaii. I agree. I'm like, there's a whole lot of reasons why not to go to Hawaii, but I wanted to make sure that we have the right reason. And I thought, yeah, I'm glad we're on the same pitch there. Respect people who just, respect history.
Yeah, just respect people and have empathy.
Actually, true. Yeah, that's a hard standard to set for a lot of people, unfortunately. Shall we move on to number 5?
Let's go ahead.
Well, speaking of rich people not respecting people and respecting history, we have Masai Mara in Kenya.
Well, okay, tell me more. Why do they have this on the list?
It says Kenya's Masai Mara is an incredible biodiverse area and a popular safari destination. It's an opportunity to see the, quote, big 5 animals, lion, leopard, rhinoceros, elephant, and Cape buffalo, all during one trip, or if you're lucky, during one afternoon. The protected Masai Mara National Reserve Park is huge, over 1,500 square kilometers of mainly grassland, extending all the way to the Serengeti plain of Tanzania? Tanzania? Is that what that's pronounced? Tanzania. My bad. Words are hard. I don't know things.
You're fine.
Yeah, it says the popular times to visit are during the twice yearly migrations. I mean, seeing wildlife is cool. There's a lot
of Disney World and go to the safari cruise instead.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if we want to be supporting Disney.
You know, right now,
yes, we do actually.
And their fight against Ron DeSantis. Like, I'll say support Disney for now. I mean, it's going to come back and bite us in the ass.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to give more corporations power in local government, I'm pretty sure. But there's just something just beautiful about watching DeSantis cry like a little baby.
Oh, yeah. The world is crumbling around him, and I love seeing it happen. But yeah, Kenya. I don't know. Interestingly, this doesn't say anything about like the people who live in Kenya. It's just talking about the wildlife, which I guess I guess.
I don't know. I think a lot in this. Once again, don't use me as a primary source.
Yeah, me neither.
God.
No, please don't.
I'm pretty sure. I think maybe possibly. That a lot of Kenya's revenue specifically comes from tourism.
True.
That, like, a large amount of its quote-unquote economic value is from tourism, which one sucks. Like, we should not be basing someone's value on how well they can produce money. But I don't know much else about the situation of whether it's good or whether it's bad. I know a lot of people get underpaid in a lot of those situations when it's tourism based for white people to come and enjoy. But I am not sure much about the situation in Kenya. I will say specifically that I wanted to go and work in Africa.
Really?
When I was in high school, I wanted to be a zoologist. My goal was to be a zoologist, get a research grant from either some type of zoological association or something else to go and study African wild dogs.
Oh.
That was my goal when I was in high school. I thought it would be so cool because I love African wild dogs. I think
cool. They're really cool.
They're fucking neat. I loved animals, and I wanted to get as far away from my podunk town as possible, and Africa sounded pretty fine.
Didn't the African wild dogs get renamed recently?
They didn't get renamed. They've been called painted dogs as well for the longest time.
Well, I think they're like actively trying to make it painted dog now. Like they're trying to get rid of the African wild dog name.
Why?
I don't know. It says that wild dog has several negative connotations that could be detrimental to its image, could result in it being, killed more often. Interesting. Hadn't thought about that, but makes sense.
Maybe.
I guess.
I don't know. Possibly.
If you name a species wild, a lot more people are going to be scared of it. So that makes sense. That's valid.
It's weird that all animals are wild.
Shut the fuck up.
No, fuck it. Okay, sorry. Not to go on another TikTok rant. Fuck the people that
just fuck the people in general.
Fuck the people. Like, there are so many people who don't understand how to behave themselves around wild animals.
Yeah.
Like, they are wild animals. I don't care how cute you think they looked on some video that was uploaded. Do not get close to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a a baby raccoon, do not pick it up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Do not pick up the wild possum. Do not get close to the deer. Like,
as much as I want to, I can't.
Like, literally, they will fuck you up.
Yes.
And, a baby raccoon can either be carrying something, or there's more likely the mother raccoon will come and tear your fucking leg off.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Possums are the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how cute it looked in some video uploaded by the dodo. Fuck them.
Fuck the dodo, dude.
Fuck the dodo. I hate the dodo so much.
Same.
Don't do it. Like, it's not worth it.
It really
You're gonna get fucked up. There was a video I was watching the other day of two people who were literally like 5 feet away from a moose.
What?
A moose. Because they were like, oh, it's so cool. And there was like someone who
No!
was far away videoing them being like, get away from it. It will attack you. And they're like, oh, it's just a moose. They're herbivores, don't you know? And then the moose went and like charged them, but thankfully didn't trample them or gore them.
Yeah,
which is very likely can happen. So fucking wild animals are wild animals.
They
Stop.
really are. I think the most terrifying thing that you could come across in America is a moose. Like, just straight. I think
that's fair.
Like, yeah, obviously they're mountain lions and all that jazz, like actual predators, but they fucking. A moose is terrifying, dude. Like, what the... And how are they not smart enough to stay away from it? Like, are you fucking kidding? Oh, my God. Well, they weren't raised in the Midwest, apparently. God damn.
It's like when I was a little kid, this is going to make me sound like some kind of wild man. So when I was raised as a little kid, like, I was around a bunch of wildlife. Like, one night, we heard, like, this screaming, and we learned it was a mountain lion that was right there on our property. Like, that's
right.
fine.
They do scream.
They do scream. Really weird. Look up mountain lions scream in your part-time, dear viewer.
After this podcast. Don't pause this. Wait.
But then also one time, like, an elk was also just at our property, just hanging out for like a week, and that was there. And literally, we were not allowed to go outside.
Yeah.
It's like, do not go outside. The elk is there. The elk will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So do not go out there.
They're scary.
And so, like, we learned how to tell the difference between a bull snake and a rattlesnake. And we learned, like, what things we need to avoid. Like, my mom, so when my mom moved to Kansas and she had her grandkids here in Kansas, like, they were out there just stomping through a field, like, with nothing, like, with their little sandals and everything. And my mom almost had a panic attack because she's like, oh my God, what if there's, like, a rattlesnake in there? You don't do that. Yeah. And her husband had to explain to her, like, no. Like, in Kansas, we barely have rattlesnakes.
We have them, but they're very rare.
They're very rare. Like, most of the time, like, the tall grass is just tall grass. And
Yeah.
my mom's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, when we were kids, if we were going into tall grass, you wore your boots, you had jeans on, because it was very likely that you were going to stumble upon a rattlesnake where I was from.
Yeah, Colorado's they're much more common there. And that
There's
scares
like no
it's
snakes
scary.
in Kansas. It's
There
weird.
really aren't. Like, I don't know why. I can't. To be fair, there's nothing in Kansas. There's nothing of interest here.
Yeah,
there's
that's
absolutely
true.
jack shit. But
The theory that my mom and I have is that there's less like rocks around for the snakes to hide around and get in and sunbathe on, and I don't know.
that would make sense.
It's so weird. I miss all the snakes that I would see in the summer. I wish I had like a snake on my driveway every morning. Like,
Oh
I
my
used to when I was a
God.
kid. That
Yeah.
was so cool.
All right. Well, we're only at number 6, and we've been recording for almost 40 minutes. So I think we might need to start picking it up if we want to get through this list. We could just stop at 10. We don't need to get through all 16.
You know, if we decide that we're taking too long, we could just jump through the other ones and have a lightning round.
We can jump them.
But what's coming up next? I
Numbers-
don't remember what we were on right there, but what comes up next?
So that one was number 5. We're at number 6 right now, and we're going with New Zealand. And it doesn't have like a specific location. It just says New Zealand.
Honestly,
which I think is kind of funny.
fair. I think New Zealand is like a really cool place. I mean,
New
there's
Zealand's
a lot of cool
beautiful.
places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beautiful places in New Zealand to visit.
Yeah.
There's what is it? All of the Lord of the Rings were shot in New Zealand.
That's one of the things they mention here, yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful landscapes. I don't know how accessible that's going to be to you, but sure, go enjoy New Zealand. I think it's fun.
I think I like purples and blues, and like I like flowery areas, and New Zealand's just fucking beautiful. They have a lot of flowery areas from what I've seen. This is one of the locations I've like actually looked into a decent amount before, like New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, that whole like the islandy area around Australia just seems really like cool. Tasmania less so, but
I was like, I want to go to Tasmania.
shh, shut the fuck up.
Are you kidding me? I think Tasmanian devils are cute, and also, isn't that one of the only places you can find a kiwi?
Is it? I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure kiwis, or is it an echidna?
I
don't know.
I'm not sure I want to find either of those, actually.
Why? Kiwis are cool and echidnas are cool. Like, obviously, observe at a distance. Wild animals are wild animals.
Wild animals are unpredictable. Yep, they
But
do be.
it would be fun to just go and observe. I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to do that as a job for the longest time, so that sounds fun to me. That's all cool. I think that's fine. Otherwise,
fair.
New Zealand, yeah, sure.
Yeah, New Zealand seems pretty cool.
I think you could find similar things in the United States to do touristy wise, but if you specifically want to go to like the fucking hills where they had Bilbo Baggins, whatever the hell his name was.
I think you got it right, but I don't know. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or anything like that.
It would have been so much funnier if I said Bimbo Baggins, but
Well, too late now.
it's too late. New Zealand's done. What's next?
New Zealand's done. So now we're moving on to number 7. Number 7 is Istanbul, Turkey. It's Turkey's
Istanbul,
capital
not
city.
Constantinople.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. The amount of times I hear that song is surprising. I don't know
Really?
why. I don't know why. It just keeps propping up in my head sometimes.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, the only place I hear it is my own head.
Yeah. And it's still there all the time. I hate it.
No one can say either Constantinople or Istanbul without me thinking of that song.
Uh-huh. I don't know why.
Also, if you want to go to Constantinople, then you should play Assassin's Creed.
This is just the Assassin's Creed podcast, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure Assassin's Creed Revelations takes you to Constantinople. I
was
believe.
gonna say you literally just said the word, Trace. How did you
I know.
forget?
I couldn't remember like which one's. I was like for a second there. I was like I could not remember which one was the old one.
Well, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Well, I'm pretty sure that in the game they actually call it Byzantinia.
Oh yeah, the Byzantine Empire. Yeah,
because that was its name before Constantinople. So,
of course, that makes sense.
Damn, that city had a lot of name changes, but.
As most cities tend to.
Well, that's like Topeka. Like, have you know? Like, okay, sorry. A little Kansas fact for you. Kansas has like Topeka has a very specific clause in like its constitution that makes it very easy to rename itself whenever it wants to.
Why? Oh, is that it? Does that Smallville thing every year?
Yeah. Well, no, that's Hutchinson. Hutchinson does Smallville.
I thought that was Topeka.
No, Hutchinson does Smallville.
Okay.
Topeka has done things like one time it renamed itself to Topekachu, to like celebrate Pokemon's 10-year anniversary or something, and that is hilarious. But it's done other things, like it'll change its name for a day legally.
That's kind of funny, actually.
And it does it to like celebrate like a bunch of stuff. But my favorite one is Topekachu.
That's some Pokemon go to the polls type energy. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know if Wichita does anything like that. What other big cities are in Kansas? Garden City, the biggest city that you get on the western side, does not do anything like that.
I don't know. Who knows? There's not many cities in Kansas. There are not many notable cities in Kansas. Cough, cough, wink, wink. Pretty much just done. Topeka, Kansas City, and Wichita are like the only big ones.
Those are your big three.
Then you have like your college campuses, like the college towns. You get like Lawrence, Manhattan, Wichita again. But like there's not much in Kansas. We've talked about that a handful of times. No. They're just not here. But Istanbul, Turkey, however, apparently has a lot of cool things. It's another destination that offers a great mix of culture, food, and history. There are thousands of years of history here, starting with ancient Greeks and ancient Romans. You should have that the other way around, and leading up through the Ottoman Empire. Just if you want diverse foods and to see a lot of history stuff, Istanbul has it.
I would love to go to Istanbul specifically because of what I saw in Assassin's Creed. No, I'm not even lying. Like that.
I know you're not.
Fantastic job to make me feel like, man, I would love to go here.
Fair,
but otherwise, yeah, it's Istanbul.
I don't know. I'm not keen on Turkish food, but if I were in Turkey, like I'm sure that would change my mind. Like there's a difference between like food from somewhere when you're eating it in America and food like actually at that place. I feel like that would be better.
I know that we're running out of time, but can I air out my grievances
Go for it.
Hawaiian Bros?
The one place that you will constantly eat at whenever you have a chance to? Yeah, go for it.
It's my guilty pleasure. I have a conflict. Okay. I love Hawaiian Bros. Any chance that I get to eat at Hawaiian Bros, I'll eat at, and that's only because, like, in Kansas, the only place that has it is in Kansas City. Like, it's in other states and cities, but the only place that has it in Kansas is Kansas City.
I think they have one in Lawrence, too, because I visited Lawrence recently for a marching band show, and that they had one there.
Oh, well, they may be expanding.
They might be expanding.
Which, once again, is bittersweet, because the people who started Hawaiian Bros... Like, I want you to look them up. Like, look up Hawaiian Bros CEO right now so you know what I'm talking about. It's two white dudes. Like, the whitest of white dudes. The way I described him to a friend recently is like, think of, like, someone who works at Office Max. Like, that's what they look like.
They do. They really do. You want to know his name?
Go ahead.
Scott Ford.
Shit. What's the other one? Because I know there's two of them.
The other one is...
together.
Cameron McNye.
Holy shit!
They're so white!
And, like, they talk about, like, oh, they went to Hawaii, and they loved the culture, and they loved, and, like... And it feels so gross to go up there, and, like, you'll hear this, like, 17-year-old kid from... you know, some suburb in Kansas City be like, aloha, can I get you some kunalai chicken? Like... I love the food so much, but it's like, holy shit, this is... If there was ever an academic paper on cultural appropriation, I think a large chunk of it could go to Hawaiian Bros.
Yeah.
And it sucks. So that's my grievance. I don't know what that has to do with Istanbul. But...
We were talking about Turkish food. I get it. I understand.
But I feel like I feel like if I actually had actual Hawaiian food, which I'd have to find a Hawaiian family that lives in the United States because I'm never going to Hawaii.
Kansas.
But yeah, so I guess recommend good Hawaiian places that are actually owned by Hawaiian families.
Yeah, drop it in the comments or tweet at Trace on Twitter because that's the only way we're going to be able to get contacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would honestly love to change it because
we need new Hawaiian recommendations because I also like Hawaiian Bros. I don't think it's like my guilty pleasure, but I enjoy it whenever it's present. You know, you forced me to go to it multiple times.
Oh, multiple times.
Yeah.
But I love Hawaiian Bros. Goddamn.
It's pretty good.
What's after Istanbul?
All right.
Istanbul.
Number 8 is one that I've never heard of before, but and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right or butcher it, but it's the Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And have you ever heard of that?
Maybe. Depends on how it actually is pronounced.
I'm going to show you a picture that was on the website. Yeah. I'm going to send it to you on Discord. You've seen that?
I've seen that. I've seen it before, yes. But go ahead, tell me about it, because it honestly looks very cool.
Well, now I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. How is it pronounced?
I have no idea. Like, I've only ever seen it read. Honestly, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. But either way, it says, located just outside the Cambodian city of Siem Reap, Angkor Wat is the largest religious site in the world. It was created originally as a Hindu temple and a mausoleum for the Khmer ruler, Khmer. I don't know how it's pronounced. Ruler in the early part of the 12th century and was converted.
Kumar?
Well, there's an E. It's an E, not an A. It seems like Khmer or something like that. I don't know. But it was converted into a Buddhist temple at the end of the 12th century. Just part of an enormous ancient city. Angkor Wat is the temple area. Angkor Thom was the city and palace area. So it means that you could get like a 2-for-1 special if you go to visit it. You get honestly, both the religious and the city.
I would love to go to any of like the South Asian countries.
Cambodia in general just looks hype, actually.
I mean, Cambodia, Indonesia, like any of those.
Yeah.
Honestly, they look like the cultural sites that they have there and just the architecture. It looks so cool. Like, I just want to sit there and enjoy it.
It does look really pretty. And I think, unlike the Vatican, I'm significantly less familiar with Buddhism. I know a decent amount about Buddhism, but I think, like, this would be a lot more interesting for me to go and explore, I think.
That's completely fair. I think it would be so cool. I mean, I'd probably be dying from this sweltering heat.
That's true. Oh my god, yeah. I can imagine it'd be hot as fuck. You'd have to go in, like, the winter.
I'm pretty sure it'd still be hot.
I'm sure, but like it would be less hot.
Cool winter. Yeah, you know, it would be 70 degrees instead of 90 degrees.
I mean, hey, that's Florida weather, baby.
Oh, God, fuck Florida too. I hate going to Florida.
As a former Floridian, I'm with you.
I was like, I had the opportunity to go to Florida here recently for a journalist thing. And I was like, don't sign me up. I don't want to go. If it was anywhere else, yeah, sure. But I'm not going to Florida.
I fully understand. There are 2 states that I refuse to acknowledge exist. Florida and California. They're not real. And I've been to both.
California's not bad.
It. Yes, it is.
I've never been to California, but that's what everyone tells me is that, like, that California isn't as bad as what Florida is.
Hey, Riddles, if you're listening to this, I don't know if you want... I don't know if you are listening to this, but if you are, tell Trace how wrong he is.
I have people who live in California that are like, no, Florida's much worse. But... I
also have people who live in California who are like, no, I want to move to Florida. Florida's is much better.
That's weird. No, what area of California? I don't know.
They're in the Bay Area, so they get like San Francisco type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the same area. Like, because Soba is from that area, not the Bay Area, but from like Southern California.
That's not Bay Area.
I know, but I'm saying like in more of the hotter part of Florida.
Oh,
the hotter part of California.
Oh, you're only caring about temperature. Okay.
Like temperature and humidity sucks.
Okay.
The lower the temperature.
If you are caring only about weather, then yes, I agree with you. Florida is worse.
What were you talking about?
Literally everything else about just the socio-cultural environment of California.
Oh no, yeah, no. The cultural environment of California is probably fucked.
I was talking about just the overall experience, yeah.
No. Specifically weather-based.
Okay, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. I'm with you on that then, yeah.
Well, I mean, Florida also politically right now is a cesspool.
Oh God, yeah, it's a mess.
California has its problems, but at least it's not Florida, which isn't a high bar. But
it's
at
not
least
it's a really low bar. Shall we move on? Shall we talk about?
Sure. What's next?
Forgot this one was next. We could skip this one if you want to.
Give me a flavoring. What is it?
London, England.
Gross.
Do you want to talk about British people?
Fuck the British. What's next?
All right, well, you might want to skip this one too. Manhattan, New York.
Oh my god. No. Me, it's like I'm gonna watch the coronation because that seems so cool culturally. Also, fuck the British.
I mean, I've seen a lot of BBC shows. Like I was big into Sherlock for some fucking reason. I'm rewatching Doctor Who for like a 5th time right now with one of my like the only local friend that I have because I don't know many people in my city. And I like British content.
Oh my god.
I don't want to go to England. I don't want to go to London. You can't make me.
Out of all the places, like, I mean, if someone was offering me a free trip to London, I'd be like, fine. But as a choice, I would go someplace else. Sorry, the British.
There are pretty things in London. I mean, you get Buckingham Palace. You get not. I think the tower is called Big Ben, but then
no, the bell is called Big Ben.
The bell is Big Ben. Tower. Okay, I'm like I knew we had that discussion at some point in time, but yeah, I don't. Downing Street, I guess. I don't know what else I'd want to see in London.
Do they drive on the opposite side of the road over there?
Yes, they do. I know they're
you can watch them do that for like a second.
Yeah, but you can just drive on the left side of the road here.
Yeah, I mean, you make us problems. I guess you're right. What's stopping you, coward?
Oh my god, that reminds me. Back when I was in a band, like in high school, not like a high school like concert or a marching band, but like I was in a punk band for a while.
Like a doing band.
Yeah. It was like 11 p.m. and I was riding in the back seat. Our lead singer and our drummer were driving, or our lead singer was driving, our drummer was in the passenger seat, and I was just on my phone really distracted, and they're like, hey, what? Do you think Seth would notice if we just get in the left lane? Because it was an empty highway, and they just went into the other lane of traffic, and they're like, yeah, I don't think he's noticing, and I'm like, yeah, I noticed, but I just don't fucking care.
I would have freaked the fuck out. Like, even on an empty highway, I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? This is horrible! Like, driving, I mean, you've seen how much driving gets me.
You care a lot about driving safety, and I respect that. I respect that to on back.
I would have freaked the hell out. I could not have, especially in high school when I was a goody two shoes. And
I thought God.
Anything that was slightly wrong was just the worst thing you could do. I would have had a fit.
You forget I was a depressed teenager in a punk band. I didn't give a shit about life.
That's fair. I was a depressed teenager that channeled that depression into trying to impress the grown-ups around me.
Same, too. But, like, I don't know. There weren't any grown-ups around, so who would have known?
God.
Yeah. God. I mean, you're right. Yeah. Funny enough, everyone in that car was Christians. Yeah, that's true.
Imagine you're at the gates of heaven, and God is like, sorry, I can't let you in because that one time you let him drive on the wrong side of the street.
You know, something tells me God doesn't care about violating the rules of man, given that is something he himself did many times.
God drove on the wrong side of the road?
Yeah, basically. I don't know, Jesus picked grain on the Sabbath.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, that is his name. That is the character. Anywho, moving on from London, England. I already told you what number 10 was, but we have Manhattan, New York for number 10.
I would like to go to Manhattan, just because it's in the United States. It would be easy. I wouldn't have to get a passport. I know people there.
I have been to Manhattan. I don't remember why. I think it was just a stop on the way to something else. It was very busy.
Manhattan bitch is going crazy.
And very
We're
messy.
Just a stop.
Well, I mean...
yeah.
If you're going somewhere and you go by New York City, like, of course you're going to stop there. Of course you're going to spend a day or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we didn't go to Central Park, I will say that. I think that would have been neat to do when I was in Manhattan. But I was like,
I specifically, like, nothing in Manhattan that's stereotypically tourist, that word. Touristy. There we go.
Yes, there you go. You got it.
I wouldn't want to go there for any of that. I specifically would just want to go to like see the giant city because, as we've well established, I'm a podunk little guy that
yes, we have established
from the middle of nowhere.
Yes,
and I've never been to a city on that scale before, and I would just like to see it and experience it. But otherwise, I mean, probably wouldn't want to go.
I think personally, I've been to a few cities on that scale. I think I prefer Chicago to
Chicago. Honestly,
Chicago's pretty cool.
Chicago. It's the only.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's the only stereotypically large city that I've been to. But I love Chicago. It is so cool. That's why I go to MFF every year.
Hey, yeah, that'd be nice. I would like to go back to Chicago at some point. I didn't go for MFF. I just went for family stuff at one point in time. I'd like to go back at some point. Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the like larger cities I've been to. I've been to Chicago, been to New York, been to Washington D.C., San Francisco, been to Orlando, Florida. If that counts as a big city, I don't really know if it does. That's more of like a theme park at that point.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly just a bunch of theme parks cobbled together.
Yeah. I've been to St. Louis. Does that count?
I don't know. I feel like the stereotypical large cities would be like, I'd count Orlando, but I'd count like Orlando, New York, and Manhattan, New York.
Yeah. Manhattan is a part of New York City.
Yeah, but like
it's one of the boroughs.
Yeah, the New York City metropolitan area, I guess would be the way to say that. And then I'd say Chicago, San Francisco,
LA,
Los Angeles. Yeah. That's about it. I think those are like the big ones.
Denver doesn't really count. I guess Tulsa.
Oh, Denver is tiny.
Yeah.
Tulsa and Denver are tiny compared to those cities.
Okay, Houston and Dallas, though. They're pretty big.
You know what? Maybe I'd throw Dallas on there.
Yeah.
But St. Louis, Kansas City, no. I mean, I get culture shock still going to Kansas City, like specifically in the downtown.
And it's a smaller city, but yeah, it feels very different from where the both of us grew up.
Yeah, like you go to Kansas City, like downtown with the buildings, and you're like, oh my god, the concrete jungle. People in Manhattan laugh. So. Yeah.
I want to move to Kansas City. I'm trying to like make that happen because I'm like I have so many friends there.
I have so many friends. If you move to Kansas City, it'd be a lot easier because I don't know. It's a lot easier to stay with you because you know all of my all of my isms and like everything that just.
I don't think that you and I would be good like long-term roommates, but I would absolutely host you for like a month if you needed to, like straight up.
I don't think I'm anyone's good long-term roommate.
Yeah, I would want to live alone. I'm with you like that.
I was like, I think I'm designed to live alone.
Absolutely.
That's just who I am.
I'm the same way. Yeah, and this is why we're recording from like 2 hours away from one another in fucking our own apartments with no roommates.
All right.
Moving next? On. Well, it's France. It's Paris, France.
Gross.
Number 11 is Paris, France.
Actually, I have one story. When I was in high school, I had a friend who had a crush on a teacher. Gross, right? Disgusting.
Wild. Okay. I mean, that's common, but it's weird looking back on it.
It's so weird looking back on it. But my friend group, the way that we were able to openly talk about this is we would call that teacher Paris. Not after the city, after the character from Romeo and Juliet.
There's a character in Romeo and Juliet named Paris? What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that.
That's what maybe it's in a different book, but I'm pretty sure it was from Romeo and Juliet.
Interesting.
But yeah, like, so we would call him Paris. So now every time that I think of Paris, I think of that teacher, and I'm like, God, wasn't high school weird? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's so weird. High school students should not crush on their teachers. I'm sorry.
100%.
I know it's going to happen because high school people like crush on everyone.
High school people are horny as fuck, and it's so weird to think about because like my brother's in high school. I'm like, he's too young to be horny, and I know. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable to think about. And like I know I was a high schooler. I was horny as fuck, but like, I don't. They're tiny. They're babies. And they're not adults.
Like, I don't even know your brother that well, but I still like when I think of him, I think of like in middle school. Is what I think like 7th grade.
I look at him and I see him as like 12 and he's almost 18 and I'm like that's not fair to him. But like
Well, I think
I don't.
when I first met him, wasn't he like 13?
Yeah, we've known each other for a fairly long time. You met my brother when
Yeah.
he was young, which is weird to think about. Yeah, because
Well,
I
that's
was
like.
yeah.
I was gonna say my first internet boyfriend, who I started talking to like when I was in middle school. Your brother is not my first internet boyfriend. Shout out Corey. Peace, dude. Still love you. We're
Hi
friends.
Corey,
to this
what's
day.
up?
But he I learned so much about his family, and still to this day, like he'll give me an update, and it'll be like so
Aw.
weird, and I'll be like, oh my god, I remember talking about this family member and where they were, and honestly, like it feels like a whole group of people that have no idea I exist, but I know so much about them.
Kind of creepy, actually. You're just their stalker.
It's so creepy, but honestly, like I'd like to meet them one day if allowed. But because still to this day, Corey is probably like my longest running friend of all time, and I still have yet to actually meet him in person. That's how weird that is. But someday if I can convince him to go to like a convention, I'm gonna meet him, or I'm just gonna have to drive down there and meet him and his partner.
Nice. Yeah.
Shout out Brooke. So it would be nice to meet you two eventually someday.
Heck yeah. What are the odds that they actually listen to this podcast?
None. 0.
You should send this episode to them and nothing else. Like only say this is the episode 1 of the podcast or something. Well, no, because we had the bit at the beginning. We had the bit at the intro where we talked about like the Beerus thing. Yeah. Okay.
But
never mind then.
No. Like I'll say, hey, I talked about you on the podcast today, because like he knows that this podcast exists. But
yeah.
It would just be interesting. All right.
It hurts to know that most of our friends, like, it kind of feels weird knowing that your friends are aware of the content stuff you make, but like they don't consume it.
I mean, it's completely
fair.
Because
it's absolutely fair.
Not everyone, listens to podcasts or consumes the type of like that's like me writing all of these stories constantly for my work, and then going to my family and be like, oh, did you read this story that I wrote? And they're like, no. Like, obviously they aren't required to read those things. It's not for them, but
I agree.
It hurts because
it feels weird. It feels weird. I'm with you on that. As someone who I think only 2 of my friends like actively watch all of my videos, and I'm like, or 2 of my IRL friends, I would say. I've made friends through content. But that's different. That's cheating.
It's like when you started making video essays, I started watching religiously because I liked that style of content a lot more. But I mean, I think you should do whatever, because I enjoy your content.
Content's weird and hard. It's hard to do what you enjoy when you don't know what you enjoy.
All right, we should probably start
let's move on.
Rapid firing, because
I mean, we only have 4 more. We're on number 12 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And some of them we've already talked about, but number 12. All right. Montreal, Canada.
I don't know. I don't want to go to Canada. Well, I mean, actually, wait, I take that back. Let me think about this.
Immediate reversal. Okay.
Immediate reversal, because like at first I was like, Canada. I don't want to go to Montreal. I would like to go to the territories more than the provinces. Like, I think it would be so cool to go up to like Nunavut, or that's the only one I can think of at this moment.
Yeah.
Just to go into like those northern territories where it's just such a completely different environment from where I am now. I mean, there's some cool places in Canada, like the Rockies in Canada, but none of that's in Montreal, is it?
I don't think so, no. I think Montreal is just basically another city, I think maybe I'm wrong. From the pictures it's describing, it looks a lot more like it looks like they're describing old Montreal, which is a lot more French. Which again, France, ew.
Ew, French.
But
what do they call that type of French that's in Canada? It's like Quebecese or something like that. Quebecese French.
French Canadian.
No, it's like Quebecese. It's like Queba something. I don't know. It's a really cool word because it's like Quebec, but it's like the Quebec French, so it's like Quebecese French.
I don't know. I'm not from France, or I'm not
Fuck
from Canada.
Fuck the French, including the Canadian ones.
No. But yeah, I've technically been to Canada, but it was like Niagara Falls, and it was basically just New York, but more. And I'm like, that's cheating. It doesn't count. It didn't feel like. It just felt like America again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem you're going to get if you go to Canada, is it's going to feel a lot like America unless you live there.
Yeah.
Then that's when the differences count.
Yeah. And I think if you go like to historic areas, just go to France. Or go
to Louisiana.
Yeah, that's a very strong French presence in Louisiana. Almost like that's, intentional.
Yeah, honestly, I want to go to Louisiana. I want to go to specifically New Orleans.
I went to New Orleans for a research conference and it fucking slapped. And it was like a week before COVID shut everything down in America. And I'm like so happy that it missed me.
Yeah, honestly, like New Orleans sounds like a blast. Montreal.
It was cool. Is New Orleans on this list? It should be if it isn't. It's not. Damn, that's tragic.
But anyway, if I'm going to Canada, I'm going to take like one of those trains that go all the way up to Nunavut, so I can get to that one town that has all the polar bears.
Yeah, that would be cool. It would be cold, but you like the cold, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, number 13. This is one of the ones I've been to. It's San Francisco. Woo!
I've always wanted to try to go to San Francisco just because I've heard it's like very gay. I think that would be fun. Well, that's where Mr. S Leather, like their headquarters is in San Francisco.
I am aware of that. All my friends who live in San Francisco say that like there's one district of it that is incredibly gay.
Yeah.
And the friend
San
I actually
Francisco.
spent. No, but only one district of San Francisco.
Yeah, that's San Francisco. That's all I care about.
Oh, okay.
That one neighborhood to me is San Francisco, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, when I went to San Francisco for a research conference, because again, that's how I do a lot of travel.
Yes.
Because research. Imagine psychology taking you places. Who would have ever guessed? But yeah, I visited the tiny section that was not homophobic, and then my friends are like, yeah, no, the rest of this place is very, very not safe for queer people. And I'm like, really? It's California. And that's when I started to learn about California being not real.
I mean, yeah, like California is a lot more red when you get outside of the cities.
Yeah.
And then also inside the cities, a lot of their leftist policies are very like neoliberal for all my
oh my god,
fucking socialists out there.
Yeah, if you know what's going on, you know. you know.
But it's almost like gay, like Boys Town in Chicago.
I've never been to Boys Town. No, I've never heard of Boys Town.
I've actually never been to Boys Town, but I've been to like the sections of Chicago that became like a pseudo Boys Town because Boys Town started to be gentrified.
Oh my god.
But I don't know. I think San Francisco would be fun. Like I do want to visit Mr. S Leather just because I think that would be interesting.
I do think maybe we should do a tour across the country and just go visit all the kink stores.
Oh God, no!
Just like all the major ones that only have an online presence, except for like one physical location in the middle of Nebraska or something. Like that's
there's like, have you ever like driven across Kansas and there's like that one sign that's like it's like the Lion's Den or something?
Oh yeah, okay. So I found out recently the Lion's Den is a national chain. I didn't know that. I thought it was only this one store in Kansas.
I thought it was also just that one store in Kansas because like when you travel across the state, like there's this one major highway that you go on.
Yeah, it's like on the way to Kansas City too.
Yeah, and so like it has like that, like visit the Lion's Den, and then right after it, it's like Jesus is always watching, and it's very funny.
I think it's very funny. I love it so much. But yeah, they're advocating. This list is advocating for eating seafood at Fisherman's Wharf, ride the cable cars, explore the hills, go to the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm like, this just sounds like normal city stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but this is just not that interesting to me.
It's everything you can, not everything, like the landmarks and whatnot, but otherwise it's just a normal city.
Yeah, I've heard some people say, and I don't remember who it was because I think it was a comedian that said this, but I can't remember the name of who it was. But someone said there's like a big difference between New York like city and San Francisco type city, because everyone in both of those cities is crazy. But New York, it's like isolated crazy. Like your craziness is stuck to your own. You don't really interact with other people. Whereas San Francisco is like socially crazy. Like everyone's going to talk to you and interact with you, and like you're going to experience all the people all the time. And from
Interesting.
my like one weekend in San Francisco for it's more like 5 days in San Francisco for a research conference. Yeah, I can relate to that. Very, very interactive people.
As someone who's never been to either of those cities, yeah, sure, I relate to that.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
What's next?
Number 14 is Hong Kong. And
Sure.
I think I'm realizing this is like the first thing on the list to not give like country afterward, which I think is really funny.
I mean,
Wait, hold on. There was one earlier.
Liberate Hong Kong.
New Zealand was just the country, though. But
yeah,
that's like okay,
because I
interesting.
mean, like, because Hong Kong, like, there's that whole political thing. Is like, is it independent or should it be controlled by China or whatnot? So, like, liberate
fair.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this list took a distinctive like stance to say that Hong Kong is
its own
independent
country.
space. Yep.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, it says Asia's largest city can feel like an Asian Manhattan, with great skyscrapers and a compact area and a serious focus on business. But venture deeper and you'll find the city's unique mix of ancient Chinese culture and remnants of its British colonial history as well. Gleaming skyscrapers are built with hand-assembled bamboo scaffolding and a fusion of new and old. And then it talks about, like, there's two main sections. You can do the Hong Kong Island and Kowloon? What? Okay, I don't know what that is. But just how the two different sides of Hong Kong, and it's just a city. It's just a city. Why are they recommending you go to cities?
I would honestly, actually, Hong Kong sounds better. because,
Really? Okay.
Because it's just so culturally different. Like just a city in the United States is just a city. But like, if you give me a city that's like such a different culture, yeah, I'd want to go.
Fair enough.
Because like, there's gonna be differences. Like, if you go to a store in St. Louis versus going to a store in Hong Kong, like, that experience is going to be different just because of the culture.
Yeah.
And so I think that in itself makes it worth the trip, in my opinion.
I like how your comparison was specifically St. Louis.
I don't know. I just chose a random city that I've been to. Okay.
Yep, I'm with you. I get you. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, I had, but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a city is still a city. I feel like regardless of what culture it is, it's going to be almost the same. Like, I
don't know.
I feel like if you want to experience culture of another country, you're gonna have to get out into the more rural or like country-ish areas. Maybe not like the farms of another country, but like out
culture
and about.
exists
You know,
in all areas, though. So like, I
it
don't think you
does,
have
but
to.
it's harder to feel. You know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could feel it in Hong Kong.
All right, fair enough.
I think it'd be fine. I mean, there's going to be a different type of feeling, the culture, if you go out to like the fields of wherever. But
yeah,
I think it's fine.
Fair. Shall we move on? Number 15.
Yeah, let's go.
It's Marrakesh in Morocco.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why this one.
That's interesting. Okay, why?
It says start your Marrakesh adventure. The Jamia El Fna. I don't know how to pronounce them. Sorry. It's the main open square of the Moroccan city. It's the gateway to the Medina or the Old Walled City. The square is like nowhere else in the world, presenting a constant show of humanity. There are musical performers, snake charmers, monkey trainers, amateur boxing matches, and transvestite belly dancers. It's also a giant food market, as well as a giant antiques market. I'm skipping past it. I know.
What?
I'm sorry.
I can't skip past it. What the fuck, list?
I wanted to just move on.
What the fuck, list?
Yeah,
What?
I don't know why they took that turn. I wasn't prepared for it. I'm like, once it came out of my mouth, I'm like, I gotta keep going. Oh, fuck. Why would they say that?
That's wild. What list? List? I don't even know if you know what that word means, list.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
But they successfully made me interested in Morocco, I'll tell you that.
I was gonna say, like, the culture, like, the open square area that's talking about, that does sound fascinating. It sounds like a farmer's market, but instead of buying things, you just absorb culture. And I like that. I like that idea. And then they said the word transvestites.
Yeah, I would like to know what the actual word they're using, because I'm pretty sure it's not transvestite.
I think it's just...
Do they mean like cross-dressing? Like,
I think it's just a cross-dressing belly dancer, yeah.
If that's true, hello.
Which, yeah, I agree. But
like, I think they may have used the wrong word there. So, who made this list?
This was planetware.com.
Planetware, shame on you.
Yeah.
Learn your words better.
Can I find the actual author? Written by Freddie Sherman and Lena Law.
Wow, name and shame, I guess.
Lena Law sounds like a Marvel character, actually.
That is
I
true.
hadn't thought about that. Oh, but yeah, it says there's also a giant food market, as well as a giant antiques market, and a swap meet. This is sounding more and more like a farmer's market. Just a big old, like cross-cultural farmer's market. You can even get a haircut or see some dental work performed. Holy shit.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like just kind of a really cool farmer's market.
This is my kind of way to experience culture. This sounds fun. This sounds really fun, actually.
Well, that's like if you went to Hong Kong, I'm sure you could go to like one of those
yeah, but
like,
I need to show you a picture because this is all like out in the open. Like Hong Kong is big old city type shit, but this is like look at the picture I sent you.
I mean, culture is still culture. If culture exists in a city doesn't mean it's not culture anymore.
I know, but it feels like, I don't know, we're closed. It feels a lot harder to absorb everything. Whereas this looks like just an out in the open dealer's den, you know?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, this is a dealer's den.
It really is a dealer's den.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could get dental work in a dealer's den as well.
Cough, cough, wink, wink.
Cough, wink, wink.
But yeah, it says that this exotic African destination is only a short flight, usually less than 4 hours from most major European cities. As a popular getaway destination, there are frequent flights available. Accommodations range from ryads, which are traditional houses that have been remade into luxury boutique hotels, to 5-star luxury resorts just outside the city. I don't think I'm making that. I don't think I'm...
Do you think they included this because they felt a little too ethnocentric with how many white
There's a lot of like white European places specifically. Yeah, I was gonna say we have Grand Canyon, we got Rome,
nothing
New Zealand, Istanbul.
Like nothing against Morocco.
London.
I'm pretty sure it's a fantastic place to visit. It felt very out of place for all. You know what else feels out of place? Machu Picchu on this list.
Yeah, that was the first one. You know.
That's like,
and then we had, what was the Kenya one as well? Like, yeah.
I mean, the Kenya one, that makes sense because that is a very popular thing to do, is go to like the scrub of Africa to go and see
the
animals.
African safari. Yeah.
Well, they weren't specifically in the safari; they were just in like the scrub, wasn't it?
I think it said to go on a safari. I think that was the
close
recommendation.
To the Serengeti. Well, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, this feels like a weird entry. I don't know. I think Morocco's fantastic. Honestly, it'd be interesting to visit. I just don't know if they seem less emboldened about this one than they have previous ones.
Yeah, but I think it's neat. I think just looking at the picture they have here, I think that would be a fun experience. I think that would be one that I would like to go to. I would suffer with the language barrier. That would kill me. Like as an autistic person, I'd get very overwhelmed. But I think it would be fun either way.
Yeah.
And the last one, number 16 on the list. Is it time to finish this up?
I think so.
All right, we have Cartagena in Colombia.
I've never heard of this place. I mean, I've heard of Colombia.
I was going to say, I've never heard of Spain. Goddamn.
What is it? Tell me.
Colorful Cartagena, one of the great historical Spanish cities of the Caribbean, pulses with life along the north coast of Colombia. Founded in 1533, its old walled city has seen fortunes rise and fall throughout the centuries and has more recently experienced a resurgence and revitalization. Significant restoration of the old city has resulted in once again dilapidated 16th century buildings springing back to life as modern, yet historical hotels, world-class restaurants, and shops. Wander through the narrow city streets to see an impressive church, an open plaza with public works of art, or an eclectic shop selling a perfect souvenir. It's basically just one of those, like, it's just
like a bazaar.
Yeah. It really is.
Sounds fun. Like, I would go to any type of bazaar that's in any type of culture. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I just watched through so much, like all of Amphibia in a very short period. That was right before
we talked about that last episode too, didn't we?
I was like, that was right before my Sims explosion as I watched Amphibia.
Uh-huh.
And they have like the episode The Bazaar. And I'm like, I don't know, it'd be very cool just to go to a bazaar and like have all of those different people there selling things. Like, I mean,
it would be neat.
The white American equivalent is like a craft show. But I think it'd be a lot cooler if it was maybe not just a craft show with a bunch of old women trying to sell me their like.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think the mix of like craft show with an actual like historic area that's been like, I don't know, that seems neat. That seems pretty cool.
That seems better. Like
it's like a lot of Spanish architecture. I love Spanish architecture. It just looks beautiful, I think I like Spanish architecture a lot more than like a lot of other cultures, and I don't know why.
Oh wow.
I have no like real what?
Putting down other cultures.
No, I'm just saying I like it more. It's just personal for me. It's just a preference, Trace.
Sure. I mean, I like on the list of types of architecture, I don't know, Spanish architecture isn't the highest on the list for me.
That's
sure, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that they didn't have Petra on this.
Petra? I don't think I've even heard of Petra.
Petra in Jordan?
Never heard. Nope.
I
mean, I've heard of Jordan, obviously, but not Petra.
Yeah, our friend Jordan. No.
Shut the fuck up. You know what I meant. I know what you meant.
Like, Petra is a city built in rock. It's like one of the, like, 7 ancient wonders of the world.
Oh, okay. I've seen this. I've seen pictures of it before. I didn't know the name.
Well, it's like they put Machu Picchu at the top, so it's been like, this is gonna be like really cool, like
no, and then location
specifically, and then it just became a bunch of cities.
It was mostly just current like modern day white cities.
Yeah, during that first one, I was like, so like they have to have Petra on here because Petra is like one of the coolest places that I can imagine to go, just because like it's so massive. And it's
looks
so
huge.
Interesting.
Oh my god,
it looks beautiful. Speaking of another place that like gets a lot of Ancient Alien coverage, Petra in Jordan.
Is that how you figure out where you want to go? That's the real reason you watch Ancient Aliens. You don't actually care about the aliens. You just build an itinerary.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I also like anywhere in Iceland. I'm surprised that didn't get like
Iceland's
going to
pretty.
One of the, what are they called? Lagoons, like the places that are heated up by like thermal energy. Like
okay,
one of those places
I think
seems
that's
like
a
really cool place to go.
Hey.
No, wait, that's not a lagoon. That's
isn't it?
That's a hot spring. A lagoon is like usually in tropical areas, and it's like surrounded on 3 sides by land. That's a lagoon.
I mean, the Blue Lagoon is one of the most popular like lagoons in the world, and it's in Iceland apparently.
But it's not a lagoon. It's just called the Blue Lagoon. Like,
oh, I see. It's a geothermal spa, but yeah, it's just a spa.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, the definition of a lagoon, I'm pretty sure is like an area of water that's surrounded by land on 3 sides. I'm pretty sure that's what a lagoon is. It's like a peninsula, but it's for water.
I googled the word lagoon, and the first thing is Lagoon Park. It's a fucking theme park. Oh my god.
My god.
Why is that first? Oh my fucking capitalism. Oh my god. Anywho, yeah, so that was the episode. Unless you have anything you want to add. I know I mentioned like saying if you want to add like number 1 place you want to visit or something like that.
That's literally what I'm doing right now is talking about the other places I would want to visit.
Go for it.
Iceland is very much on there. Petra I would love to go to. Honestly, the Kenya one was spot on. I would do that.
Neat, yeah.
As long as it was all ethical and everything, and I wasn't using very underpaid workers.
You'd have to do your research. I'm with you.
I'd have to do my research to go to Kenya. Australia is a huge one on my bucket list, and because I'm a weeb, Japan.
Yeah, I figured you'd want to go to Japan. I don't know if there's much, like, I'd like to go to Australia. I don't know if I would do both Australia and New Zealand, though. Because I think I have a preference for New Zealand. I think New Zealand is prettier than Australia, but I think Australia just has more to do,
I mean, Australia is huge.
It is big, yeah.
And not a lot of cities.
Not a lot of cities. There's, like, there's the coast and nothing else.
Yep.
Just like America.
Very interesting. I mean, America has more.
No, we have the coast and nothing in between. As a Kansan, there ain't jack shit out here.
Yeah, as a Kansan, there is jack shit. But Chicago and Dallas, the middle is sparse.
The middle is very sparse. All right. I think that's the episode. Unless are you done listing places? You still got more? Okay.
No, tell us where you want to go in the comments below. Or
Actually, yeah. We should we make like a Rank Masters Twitter, or are we just have people tweet at you? Because I don't want to be a Twitter. I don't want to be a Twitter anymore.
Follow us on TikTok, by the way. We said we were going to mention that. We have a TikTok.
We're getting nothing on TikTok. Literally nobody knows about us on TikTok. It sucks.
Please follow us on TikTok and interact with what we post. Would love to see you over there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have nothing else. You can end us off.
Well, I think that's just ending it. Bye.
Oh, goodbye.